Hello everyone, this is Richard from Modern Healthspan. Today we have a special episode where we have compiled the longevity protocols from some of our earlier guests. We would like to extend our thanks to our guests who have come on our channel and shared their health and longevity protocols. I think that it is very helpful to see what the top experts in the field do daily based on what they have learned. So with that, I will start the video. Would you be able to share what your personal protocol is?
Yeah, so I do 12 hours. I do the pescatarian diet. I have the breakfast that I described. I skip the lunch when I replace the lunch with a small snack when I tend to gain weight. I have lots of legumes, but I have fish 2 or 3 times a week. I have low mercury fish and lots of at least salmon once or twice a week, and sardines and anchovies, etc. And I do an hour of biking either on the road or at home. I have a bike that makes it difficult for me to pedal, and I do that every other day, very religiously. And while I'm doing my meetings, my calls, and lots of things, and I think it's an advice that I always give people, because I would say 90% of people eventually will have an excuse to stop running, will have an excuse to stop doing whatever sport they're doing, and but I never had an excuse to not be able to do the 1 hour of the bike at home. So it's much less likely, I think, that you find that. I mean, of course, I'm not happy necessarily when I have to do every other day the 1 hour of bicycle, but it's there, and it's just hard to find an excuse not to do it. So yeah, and the other thing I think is walking. I always think of restaurants and coffee shops that are maybe 15 minutes away. Most people think what's nearby. I think what's the furthest away that I can go, and then once you get used to it, then it becomes a routine, and that gives you the 1 hour of walking per day.
So what do I do? Well, I do strength training, resistance training, weightlifting. Has a number of different names. I am an advocate of the high intensity school of resistance training, which means it's basically brief and infrequent, but very intense training. So I train twice a week, and my workouts last me under 25 minutes. But the workouts are very intense. You feel pretty wrecked after you've gone through one. So that's my exercise. That is my intense exercise. On my off training days, I do light exercise like walking. In terms of food, I eat real whole food. So this is an important distinction that I think most people are maybe not aware of. Ultra-processed food is the food that comes in boxes and bags and sold in the middle aisles of the supermarket. Has colorful labels and brand names, all the heavily advertised stuff that big food companies make and want you to buy. Real whole foods are the meat, fish, eggs, dairy, fruits, and vegetables that are sold around the outside perimeters of the supermarket. Those are what you want to eat, not the ultra-processed foods. So I don't eat ultra-processed foods. I also eat very low carb, a few carbs here and there, most days pretty much next to zero. That's another thing. Then I also practice intermittent fasting, which is, as I'm sure you know, is just going without food for a certain period of time. So there are various protocols of intermittent fasting. I'm more likely to do something like a 16-hour fasting, 8-hour eating window. I don't do that every day, but I do it fairly often. So those are my main anti-aging protocols.
Do you take any supplements?
Yes, I do. And so the ones that I would consider pretty much, obligatory, at least for me and for many people who use these. One is magnesium. So magnesium is very important, and the reason why supplementation is so often necessary is because much of the magnesium in our food is no longer there as compared to what it was 50 or 100 years ago. So it's important to get plenty of magnesium. There are also a number of conditions that result in wasting of magnesium. For example, drinking coffee, tea, or alcohol results in losses of magnesium. And so for all these reasons, many people, at least in the United States, are magnesium deficient. Another thing I take is vitamin D. Vitamin D is made in our skin as a result of being in the sun. But of course, people don't have year-round sun access. There are things like the winter and living up north and so on. So many people could use some vitamin D. I take a few other things, N-acetylcysteine, for example. So I do take supplements, and those are a few examples of what I take.
Sleep and stress management are vital for longevity. And my wife and I have been looking for ways to improve our sleep quality. After doing our research, we realized that magnesium is the key. Magnesium is a crucial mineral in hundreds of reactions in our body, and it has an impact on everything from metabolism to sleep to energy, even bone and muscle health. It also has a role to play in stress response. So deficiency in this basic nutrient leads to bad sleep quality, low energy, accumulating stress, and impacts our overall health. There are also different forms of magnesium, and it's difficult to get all of it in your diet. 3 months ago, we started trying a magnesium supplement from BiOptimizers. Their Magnesium Breakthroughs formulation has 7 different forms of magnesium, all of which have a different function in the body. For myself, I really notice the difference. I frequently get jumpy legs at night, but with Magnesium Breakthrough, I'm not disturbed by my jumpy legs, and I get a better, deeper sleep. We're happy to tell you that BiOptimizers is offering a 10% discount for this special magnesium formula to our audience. Just go to www.magnesiumbreakthrough.com/modern or click on the link in the description and use the coupon code MODERN10 for a 10% discount. Thank you so much for your support, as always. What is your protocol for staying healthy?
I follow SHIELD. I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep on weekdays. I get 8 to 9 on weekends. I'm a vegetarian. I eat a plant-based diet. I exercise every single day, stay socially active. Obviously, part of my job is learning new things. So I strictly follow sleep. I meditate, handle stress. I try to stay mindful, try to stay task-driven. I try not to have an idle mind. I interact with many people. I exercise, always learning something new, and I keep my diet plant-based. And I think there are no guarantees, but I think that's the best thing you can do. Monitor your blood pressure. I don't smoke cigarettes, and you want to monitor your blood pressure because that's a big risk factor. These are things you can do. Monitor your diabetic status. That's a big thing you can do.
What do you do to stay healthy and keep your inflammation down?
Oh, wow. This is a long list of things. So I meditate. I work a lot. I keep myself very, very, very busy, but I pause every now and then. I do surfing almost every morning, and avoid grain, and I avoid dairy products. I don't touch anything that's not organic. I try to avoid pollutants as much as we can from the air. Here in California, it can be a little difficult. But I'm trying to keep myself as protected from all these stressors. Aside from that, I measure my inflammatory age every couple months, 2 to 3 months. And I also measure my pulse width velocity testing using a scale, within scale. And I am consuming my own supplements, my own list of supplements based on my immunotype. We're not ready as a company to provide me with the proprietary final formulation yet, but I take that over the counter. So
we've kind of talked about, so you take rapamycin once every 2 weeks and the senolytics once every 2 weeks, and the glycine and the cysteine, is that every day? How yeah.
The glycine and cysteine I try to take every day, my protocol used to be taking the rapamycin. First, I was taking 3 or 4 years, like 6 milligrams once a week. But then I moved up to 10 milligrams because some of my patients were doing that on their own, and they had like a good response. So I moved up to that. But then in the sort of last 6 weeks, I've like following Black's Sclerosis suggestion, I've been doing 20 milligrams of rapamycin 1 week, and the Pisotinib 2 tablets, 100 milligrams 2 days in a row, the next week. So every other week, I do one or the other of those 2.
Right.
For my patients, I mostly have everybody just on, like I haven't gone now, just have the once a week, because once a week is fine if you're on a low dose. But I don't think it's good to take. I was concerned that the rapamycin would interact with the senolytics, and that the senolytics, you're trying to like kill the cells. Rapamycin is good for increasing autophagy to helping cells stay alive. I would think the rapamycin might help the senolytic cells stay alive. So I didn't want to be taking the rapamycin the same time I was trying to kill the senescent cells.
Right. So do you take any other supplements? Like, do you take NAD boosters or anything? Nothing.
No,
Nothing
I
else.
know. I only take the rapamycin, the Pisotinib. I take quercetin for the Pisotinib because that's the program, and I just added the NAC and the glycine based on that Surlite paper from Baylor Medical School.